All right, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana, and this is a bit of President Nelson's talk, just some of the most fundamental parts of it. I've never heard this song before, but it was beautiful. Be a link to all this.
Your age, how to receive personal revelation. And nothing will make a bigger difference in your life than that.
Very interesting statement. Personal revelation, confirmation on that will make a big difference in their lives. And then his wife gave an interesting talk too.
Studied it all of your life. So just imagine if you could gaze for 10 minutes at your pre-mortal life. Of course we realize that the Lord has wisely drawn a veil over those memories, but just for a moment, imagine the effect on your life right now if you were permitted to watch 10 minutes of your pre-mortal life.
Now, we have a little short understanding of this. 10 minutes wouldn't do us much, it would help us, but we would really have to see different parts and times of our progression, who we are, because there was a lot done in the previous life. A patriarchal blessing would give us some understanding. This revelation would give us some understanding. But we would need a lot more than 5 or 10 minutes. And we would have to be quickened. But she is right that this personal understanding of who we are, it was deep in our being.
We have our agency to choose how we spend our time and energy, our talents and resources. In fact, what we choose to do is actually part of our testing. The choice is yours and mine. Will we choose to do whatever it takes to fulfill the wonderful missions for which we were sent to earth?
That's the real challenge, and we have to have a deep commitment to understand these missions and a deep commitment to do what it takes to fulfill them. A lot easier said than done. She talks about these 5 points.
And that, my friends, is a really big deal.
She talks about receiving a mortal body and controlling the appetites and passions of the body. That is a big deal.
Second, you came to be tested. And by the way, have you noticed that our testing often involves learning to control our body's appetites and passions, which can sometimes get way out of control? If you are presently struggling with the residual effects of any kind of addiction or of major unrepented sin, I urge you to unburden yourself by talking with your bishop today. He holds priesthood keys that can help you. A third thing to do while on earth, choose to follow Jesus Christ and stand up for him.
Now, part of this being tested, she asks that they would repent and see the bishop if they need to improve in certain areas. Very wise counsel. And stand up for Jesus Christ. Great, great counsel again. And for one another and for what the church stands for.
As you did premortally. Fourth, choose to repent daily and partake of the sacrament weekly. As you do, you will be spiritually healed, strengthened and magnified, and ultimately sanctified and exalted through the atonement of Jesus Christ. Now, here's a 5th item on your list. Find and fulfill your mortal missions.
All these are really important, but this last one is finding and fulfilling your mission, and they're going to challenge them to do a mission here in a moment. Very powerful stuff.
Isn't she wonderful? My dear young brothers and sisters, these surely are the latter days, and the Lord is hastening his work to gather Israel. That gathering is the most important thing taking place on earth today.
Now, he talks about this gathering of Israel in length and encourages to get an understanding and vision of how important that is. Challenges them to get inspired on this mission, and the 12 to 18-year-olds to get actively involved in gathering Israel. And he tells about some specific ways to do that.
Their answers also included, I would be willing to do more family history work. I would be more open and make a greater effort to talk with others about the gospel. I would be a good example in showing Christ-like attributes.
Now, all these suggestions that the youth give are great suggestions for adults to do as well.
I would do more baptisms for the dead, change aspects of how I live my life and the choices I make, travel anywhere he needs me to go, learn a new language, meet new people, lend my copy of the Book of Mormon to those who have never read it, and I would be the very kindest person I can be.
Some really great suggestions.
And he panicked. How would he stay connected with his friends?
I was talking about taking away that cell phone for 7 days and just getting a flip phone. Because there were some things on this cell phone, the smartphone, that his parents did not like, and rightfully so.
Initially, he was furious with his parents. But after just a few days, he thanked them for taking his smartphone away. He said, I feel free for the first time in a long time. Now he calls his friends on his flip phone to connect with them. He actually talks with them instead of always texting. What other changes have occurred in this young man's life? He says he now loves being free from the fake life that social media creates.
And social media can create a great deal of fake life. Talks about giving up that cell phone for a week. 7 days social media fast. Pretty tough to do, even for some adults.
Then you are putting yourself at spiritual risk, as well as the risk of experiencing intense loneliness and depression. You and I both know youth who have been influenced through social media to do and say things that they never would do or say in person. Bullying is one example. Another downside of social media is that it creates a false reality.
Weekly sacrifice of time was the second one.
The Lord, for 3 weeks in a row, to let him know that you want to be part of his youth battalion more than you want anything else. For 3 weeks, give up something you like to do and use that time to help gather Israel. Anytime you do anything that helps anyone on either side of the veil, take a step toward making covenants with God and receiving their essential baptismal and temple ordinances. You are helping to gather Israel.
It's a very interesting point on both sides of the veil. Anytime you take a step to keep people in that covenant path and to serve, you're helping gather Israel. Very profound.
It is as simple as that. As you pray about this sacrifice of time, you will be guided to know both what you can give up that week and what you can do instead to help.
And he's talking about using prayer and personal revelation to make these decisions. Also very profound, very smart, very wise.
Gather Israel. For example, a young golfer might give up a round of golf and spend that time in the Temple Baptistry.
So let's look at those. It talks about keeping on the covenant path and repenting if you're not, getting back on that path. It talks about praying daily to receive all the blessings of the gospel, personal revelation and service and so forth.
5, stand out. Be different. Be a light. Give to a friend one copy of the booklet for the strength of youth.
I thought that was a very interesting thing to challenge youth to give out a friend copy for the strength of youth and to talk about it and to share it and to bear witness of its power and its truthfulness as you do so. Just as powerful and important in many ways for the youth as reading the scriptures in the Book of Mormon are. We're going to edit this here. Very powerful things. And to stand out and be different, be a light to the world, and to rejoice in that power and that light, and make a change in your life and in the world too. Very profound things. We're going to end it here. Again, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day.